welcome to another edition of the Parents Program Radio Show. I'm Ken Elmore, Dean of Students here at the university, and
I'm Daryl DeLuca, Assistant Dean of Students. Welcome in.
we have got quite the show today, don't you think,
We certainly
Daryl?
do, absolutely.
It's all dedicated to, right here, class of 2015, seniors, people graduating, even grad students. A lot of the tips and advice we're going to give today are going to be things that almost anybody can use. And I got this nice brand spanking new, it smells wonderful yearbook. You can get one of these online, or you can certainly come into the Dean of Students office and you can purchase one too if you haven't already gotten one.
They're hot off the press, I
Hot
understand.
off, my fingers are burning, they're so hot off the
I
press.
know you're smelling that fresh ink, but
Oh.
they look fabulous.
They
We've
really
just taken a few moments to take a look at it. And they're colorful and engaging and beautiful. And
Beautiful.
enormous amount of seniors have contributed to it this year.
And I've also heard that this is a record year for the number of senior portraits that are a part of it. Those nice little pictures that you see of yourself. And you were commenting about how good these people look.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And mature. I looked like I did not have this kind of look when I was graduating from college.
You know, Dean, walking around campus today and yesterday, it has been an absolute transformation what the facilities management and planning, we call them FMP, facilities management and planning folks have done with the landscape, the enormous beauty of our flowers and trees, and
It's
the cleanup
amazing.
has been incredible.
It is. I didn't think it was ever going to get here, because I thought we'd have snow by now, but it happened. It's great.
After 9 feet of snow,
Oh.
110 inches of snow,
Amazing.
blizzards of 2015.
Well, at least we came in number one. That's all I got to say. It'd be a miserable time to go through just to come in second.
And you talked about seniors. Aren't we in the midst of Senior Week?
We are. This week, our seniors are out and about. They're completing bucket lists. They are going to programs all over the city and having a great time. Today, for example, they're all out at Six Flags amusement park. They're hopefully eating hot dogs and not getting sick on too many spinny rides.
I was out there earlier and I was watching our staff, the student activities staff, load up the 23 buses, coach buses,
That's right.
with a Six Flag takeover. And it's amazing that they all were last night out in beautiful Boston Harbor, and it was a gorgeous evening in Boston with great weather, and they all came back well. And Dean Medellino told me not one person went over.
Not a one.
That's usually a good sign.
So parents, they're okay, right? They're at least here. We got them back here today. And then tomorrow night is the senior bash that they'll do over at 808 Commonwealth Avenue. I even understand parents can come to that if they
Yes,
like to.
they can, absolutely. That bash has grown to enormous proportions, and it's at 808, the old Peter Fuller Cadillac building, 808 Commonwealth Avenue. And then we round out the week with a beautiful presidential champagne reception
On Friday.
at the Track and Tennis Center. I want to say that's from 3 to 5, 4 to 6, somewhere around
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Get there at 4.
there. Get there at 4, absolutely so.
The other thing that's starting to happen tomorrow are our convocations will start to happen. That's where we hand you that diploma, that degree. Now, it doesn't go into effect until Sunday after the big graduation, but you at least get it. So caps and gowns, I hope that what students are doing tonight is ironing those things or steaming them. You just look bad in the pictures if you got wrinkles all over them. So please call them and tell them to get these things in order.
Our office actually today received some calls from parents whose sons and daughters are in dual degree programs and receiving multiple degrees.
It sounds like a humble brag to me.
A humble brag, and they want to know,
What
can
do we do?
can they go to two convocations? And if there isn't a conflict, and generally there is not, you can attend both.
You can.
Both
convocations.
Both convocations,
Yeah.
and pick up your degrees.
And you can also visit your friends' convocations. The convocations are open. You can go and get to those.
Absolutely.
Daryl, why don't you give them a sense of what we got on store today?
Yes, well, today we have a call-in folks who is a Boston University parent, Susan Bruno. She is the president and, I guess, chief executive officer of College CFO, that talks about management skills and money skills and really marketing us as to what to do after folks graduate.
That's important.
Yep. And we also have Kimberly Delguizo with us today, who's our director of the Center for Career Development. And she's here to talk about all things careers and jobs and employment and all the things that are available. And I understand there are still jobs open.
And a great job market, too.
We also have with us our own student employee, Jeffrey Herrera.
Right.
Jeffrey is a senior graduating from CAS, I believe,
That's
College
right.
of Arts and Sciences.
That's right.
He's also actually a dual major in philosophy and biology, and he's going to give us a little bit of his reflections on his last 4 years.
And you might know Jeff because he beatboxed for us one day
That's right.
on the show.
Highly engaged young man.
Yeah.
Has worked in development, alumni relations, has worked closely with our parents program, and has also done tremendous, enormous efforts with our community service center.
That's right.
Both with FISOP and alternative service breaks.
You got it.
So that's the lineup.
Okay, so what we got to do now is take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that really important thing, how you manage your life once you leave this place. And by the way, you have to leave on Monday.
We'll be right back.
All right, well, welcome back to the Parents Program radio show hosted by the Parents Program here at the university. And I want to remind you that you can go right onto the show page and you could put your questions in and we'll try to get to those. We've got some already. Or what you could do is on Twitter, tweet at BU Parents, at BU Parents, that's with an S, Parents, and we will do our best to see if we can answer some of your questions. Daryl, we got some guests who are joining us by phone.
We do. Thank you, Dean Elmore. And welcome back. We have with us today Susan Bruno from College CFO. Susan is not only a CPA and a financial planner, but most importantly, she is a Boston University parent. And we have the luxury and joy, privilege to know her son Alex.
Yes.
Skateboarding Alex Bruno.
Yes, indeed.
We see him up and down the campus all the time.
You got it.
Secondly, with us...
Hey, by the way, Alex is graduating from the School of Education this Sunday.
Sunday, he is, absolutely. Yes,
Yay.
as the mom screams out. And secondly, we have a colleague of Susan Bruno, who's also a recent young alum, Laura Forth. And Laura hails from Laguna Hills, California, but I understand she's locally right in Boston right now.
And Laura, I understand you were a Arts and Sciences and Questrom graduate.
Yep, that's right.
All right.
Well, welcome, ladies. Glad to have you on the Parents Program radio show.
Hey, well, Susan, why don't you tell us a little bit why don't you tell us a little bit, Susan, about your organization and what you do and why this is really pertinent to these seniors right now?
Well, I, as a CPA, was absolutely shocked when I had a number of interns work with me and realized that they knew so little about their personal finances. So with the help of Laura Forsyth, our lead, we actually built a student-driven financial website that's just in time and relevant to all college students to help them with budgeting, saving, investing, building credit, everything they need.
You mean I have to know about that stuff? I mean, it's been done for me for so long. What are you talking about? Laura, when you first got out, were you ready to do this stuff?
No, I absolutely had no idea about personal finance. And I can tell you that I learned more from working at College CFO than anything. That's really why we wanted to create this product, is that there is such a lack of education about personal finance with this age group.
And what is the site? If you could, give us the URL on that site.
The URL is collegecfo.com.
collegecfo.com. And what will I see when I go to that site?
When you go to that site, you will see different tabs for articles, video tutorials. You will see our 9-module financial empowerment course and certification. You'll see all of our different resources for student loans, for building credit. We really try and give a really good overview of basic personal finance.
And Susan, how soon should somebody start in terms of doing this? Am I behind if I haven't started already? How quickly can I get up to speed? I gotta get an apartment and a car by Monday.
That's an excellent question, and I always say the sooner the better. I mean, I work with clients who are in their 60s and they want to start saving for retirement. So my point is, start with learning how to budget, save, invest, and build credit while you're still in college. But if you didn't, don't beat yourself up. Just get going. Understand the why. And I think that's the most important, is for us to be able to explain, why is building credit important for me? Why is saving? Why is investing? And frankly, budgeting is a perfect example. It's one of those things that when you have fewer things to budget on, it's a lot easier to, crawl, walk, run. And we provide resources that make it really easy to do. And again, relevant for our young adult age group. And if you can start at freshman year, great. It's meant to be multi-generational, so it's something that the parents can work with their children with to learn about this together. So we encourage a combination of parent and student.
Susan, I'm always taken back, and Laura just sort of highlighted my concerns, but when I'm always taken back when I talk to young folks, primarily juniors and seniors in college, and they don't have a clue as to how to budget their money, how to finance things, how to set up banking accounts, checking accounts. If you could give us a barometer reading or a temperature of young adults or college-age students, what would it be from your point of view in terms of the need?
I would say that it's definitely needed. If you're making your first budget, whether you've tried and you've been unable to stick to a budget, I think a lot of people are at this age. They're kind of in the starting stages of learning how to do that. So we try and make our resources very available to wherever you are in this process. But budgeting right now, it's the hardest thing that we deal with, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of education around it.
And why is it hard, Laura? Is it hard because it's difficult stuff, or is it hard because we're in denial and we just don't want to sit down and do this stuff?
Well, I think denial has a lot to do with it. I think that understanding your top line is probably the hardest thing coming out of college, because we're in that transition from financial dependence on our parents to financial independence as real people after graduation. So understanding, how much money you're actually making, your gross profit rather than your net profit, and that you won't be receiving that little extra from mom and dad, for the rest of your life.
Speak for
and then,
yourself.
Trying to see, what different things that you can spend on.
All right. We got a few questions we want to try and shoot your way, too. I know I mentioned I got to get a car by Monday. Someone asked, after I graduate from college, should I start to think about a car in terms of buying one or leasing one? Or what should I be thinking about when I think about a car?
I tell kids who are first out, think of it as is it a want or is it a need? So the first thing you need to think about is, do I really need it? Not just, to take mini weekend getaways, but if you are in the city and you don't need it, try and live without it for as long as you possibly can, because it's not just buying the car and maybe having car payments. It's also the insurance that comes along with it, the gas that comes along with it, the repairs. So the first thing you want to do is think about, is this a need or a want? And we focus on that with budgeting significantly, because there's a limited budget. As Laura said, you have to really look at how much you take home, not how much you're making gross. And if you can eliminate a car, eliminate a car. But if you need it to get to work, then really be economical. Don't look at the glitz. You may want to look at a used one. The idea of leasing a car means that you would automatically have to give it up after a certain period of time. So I'm not a big believer in this age group, and they nick you for all kinds of things when you lease a car. A minor scratch is going to cost you $1,000. So think of used and think as economical as possible.
And Susan, your advice is to think about it whether it's a need or want. Isn't that really applicable to most things in life?
You are so right. You are so right. I, as a CPA, financial planner, I counsel clients all the time, and that's why we're trying to embed this in the psyche of the college student, is when I go to buy something and I put my hand on it, it has to fall into one of two categories, and that's want or need. And if it's a want category, think about the impact on your budget, and then think about need first.
Our good friend, the Dean of Marsh Chapel, Robert Hill, said that there are lots of ways to be wealthy. You could either make a lot of money or have a lot fewer need. And that resonated with me the first time I heard him say that.
Touche. And that is so important for people to understand, that the definition of wealth is not just the amount of money you have in the bank or the amount of money you earn. It's, as I say to the kids that we counsel, is find what is important to you. And then from the financial side, I truly, as Laura said from the beginning, independence is so important and so empowering. You don't want to keep running home. So try and figure out if what you're doing may be, a starving artist or whatever it is, find within that budget. And you don't want to keep running home and being dependent on your parents or anyone else.
Susan, could you say a word about, I oftentimes hear students talk about there is good debt and bad debt. And could you explain what the difference is and how do you go about sort of making those decisions between them?
Yeah, and student loan debt is almost inevitable nowadays. And I think, as Laura mentioned before, we've got a great student loan account aggregator on collegecfo.com. So the tough thing is you take them out over a period of 4 years, maybe even longer, and you need them in one portal. You need to be able to look at it. You need to be able to analyze what the repayment is in the aggregate. Personally, it's good debt if you use it to build credit. My 25-year-old daughter had a small student loan and was able to buy her first home because not only did she have a credit card off of our credit card, she was building some credit history, she also was in charge of her off-campus apartment, which meant that the utilities were in her name. The type of controlled debt at the lowest interest rate possible, and the only way you're going to get a low interest rate is to have credit history and a good credit score. You need nothing without that. Nothing without that in terms of even applying for a job. They will check your credit score. And if you've been, negligent in looking at how the repayment on your student loans, you've let some even small, credit cards lapse, you're going to present poorly to the rest of the world. You need to have small, controlled debt at a low interest rate.
And it's interesting you mentioned that. I know when I got out of college, which was ages ago, I was in the habit of not using a credit card except for emergencies. So I went through a large part of my life not building any credit whatsoever because I paid for things with cash. And then I remember the first time I went to go buy a car because I needed to get a car, I had absolutely no credit history. And I had never thought about the idea that you've got to be able to use debt as a leverage for other debt that you and to do some other things with your financial planning. So it was a tough lesson for me.
Susan, I want to bring up the white elephant in the room with 22-year-olds, and that is financial planning for retirement at 22 years old. Do you guys even go near that?
You know why we do? Because of Roth IRAs, and the ability to get a match on 401k. And believe it or not, it resonates with the kids. And part of it's because they saw that the parents have to delay their own retirements, and they don't want to do that for themselves. And when we explain what a match is on 401k, they think, that sounds pretty good.
They light up like a Christmas tree.
Free money.
They do. They do. And that's why you squeeze out some, get rid of some of the wants to put a little money away. And it's very empowering, especially since everything's accessible online now. You see that account grow. You learn a little bit about investing. The kids are actually embracing it. You'd be really surprised. Credit and saving for retirement are much higher than you'd expect.
It's so empowering, A, to hear you say that, and B, that you're passing that along to young folks today, because I take every opportunity to do that as well. They don't realize how fast time goes by, and when you have that match, it's almost like free money sitting there, as the dean pointed out.
I was only 22 years old just like a year ago. I mean, it's just amazing how fast this sort of thing goes. Hey, Laura, so people, someone coming right out of college, when it comes to money, can be scared. What are they scared of, and what are the best ways to get them to sit down and engage these conversations to do this kind of work?
I think it's really a fear of not knowing. So I think, it's not that people are hesitant at talking about money per se. I think it's people feel that they don't understand, the finer financial topics enough to talk about them. So, if you want to talk to your student about taxes or about retirement planning, like we were talking about, I think now is the time, especially in college, to breach that conversation. And students that, feel uncomfortable about not knowing, my advice to them would be to reach out to those around you. Reach out for resources like College CFO or the resources of your parents or older siblings, people that can, really help you with these financial topics. But I think that fear comes from not being an expert on them and just kind of fear of the unknown.
So someone asked, what sets College CFO apart from other financial sites that they might visit?
I think what sets us apart is that we try and approach financial topics from the context of students' lives. So we try to make everything very relevant. It's not, a very dry lecture. It really speaks to the way that they think about money, to the way that we, want to make our budgets, want to think about our spending on the weekends. And it's very realistic. I think it's very approachable.
Okay.
What are the, one other question from a parent is, what are the top 5 things a parent can teach his or her student or child with respect to money? Or top 3, if you will.
I did this. We actually have it on our website to create a budgeting game, and it's called the beer envelope budget. Because when we go off, the kids go off to school, time to stop micromanaging them. So what we do is my rule with Alex. Yes, he likes to skateboard, but I'm sure he likes to go have brunch in Boston and do all those great things. So we sat down and said, how much are you going to earn over the summer, and let's divide that by how many weeks there are in the summer. We'll carve out some money to buy your books, and then let's try and set up a budget. And there's, basically 5 different categories, and he loves BU hockey, so that was one of the categories. And then we said, okay, let's really think about, and one of the things I love is take a stack of money and separate it out. And what are you going to spend where? And put it in envelopes if you have a safe in your dorm room or whatnot. so you actually know how much you have to spend, because that will be a lesson for the rest of your life. So I would say budgeting, number one. The second would be, if you can, start a small investment account. Plenty of, the mutual funds will allow you to start with a very, very small amount of money, and I would do it with a Roth IRA, so that they learn both investing, saving, and saving for a particular goal. And then the other, again, is the building credit, and they do have an opportunity to be able to build some credit off of your own credit card if they have it in their individual name, even if you are repaying it. So those are kind of my top ones. And finally, if they do have a summer job, many times they do put exempt on their W-4, but if they don't, get them to file their tax return. Work with them. TurboTax has a great kind of interview system that Alex actually loved. It's kind of a game, and that's what we try and make things is just easy and kind of gamify them. So teach them how to file a tax return. When does it due? What does it look like? Why? What's withholding? So those would be my top areas. I don't know, Laura, if you have one that...
Well, Laura, let me ask you this.
You.
Well, Laura, what would be those top one or two things that you would do if I were a graduate student? Now, I'm not going to have a full-time job, but I'm going to be a graduate student. I'm probably going to be paying my way a little bit more, and I may not have access to as much cash.
In the way of educating yourself about financial topics, I think budgeting at every stage is going to be a new lesson. So budgeting in college is going to be different than budgeting when you're a graduate student. And in that, it encompasses, a whole bunch of other financial topics. Is budgeting on, like Susan said, what you take home, not what you make, which involves understanding, taxes and other financial topics like that involve your paycheck. But I think budgeting would be my number one, just for graduate school.
That is tremendous advice.
It is.
Both
It
of
is.
you.
Thank you.
And sadly, we have blown through our 20 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
That quick. So what's the best way for folks to find you and to contact you, or to reach out to you if they have questions or would like to engage you?
Our website is collegecfo.com, and I can be emailed at any time at laura@collegecfo.com for any feedback, comments, or questions pertaining to the site or financial topics.
Great, thank you.
Outstanding.
Very good. Well, that's a wrap for us right now in this segment. One of the things that we just talked about is you got to have a job. And so we want to talk a little bit with Kimberly Del Ghizo right after the break about that job.
And Susan, hopefully we'll see you this weekend.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm heading up in 2 days.
And tell Alex he can't skateboard in the commencement procession, but he's got to walk this time around.
I will let him know.
Thank you, folks, both for
Thanks,
joining us
guys.
for the Boston University Parents Program Radio Show. We very much appreciate it.
Hey, folks, we'll be right back.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hey, well, welcome back to the Parents Program Radio Show. I'm Ken Elmore, Dean of Students here at the University. I'm here with Dean Daryl DeLuca as well, and special guest Kimberly Del Ghizo from the Center for Career Development. And in this segment, we're talking about J-O-B, jobs, right?
We are.
Because you're just handing them out all over the place.
Absolutely.
Aren't you?
And Kimberly, I read in your profile this morning, which I cannot believe, you joined Boston University in June of 2009.
I did.
You are in year 6.
I
can't believe that.
believe it.
You're like a second-year grad student,
Thanks.
right?
Yes.
on the Charles River campus.
That's it.
On the banks of the beautiful Charles River.
Yes,
So
right.
welcome, and thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for the opportunity, Daryl. I've got lots of, hopefully, great information to share.
Okay, let's get right to it.
All right.
Talk to us about what's on the docket for tomorrow.
Tomorrow we've got a senior event from 1 to 4 in the afternoon at the Yawkey Center for Student Services at 100 Bay State Road. If students haven't registered for it yet, they can show up tomorrow. We have workshops and programs throughout the day from 1 to 5, including everything from how do I prepare for job interviews? How do I even do a job search? There are some seniors who have been so concerned with their academics that they haven't been able to begin their job search.
Are you serious?
It's true. I know it's hard
Really?
to believe, but it's true. It's true. So we've got job search strategies we're going to be talking with them about, how to prepare for the job interview. We're actually doing some mock interviews. We've got a program in which we're going to talk about job negotiation and how do you talk about salaries and other benefits and how to negotiate them.
Outstanding.
We're also talking about transitioning from BU to the world of work. What kinds of things do students need to think about from the offer to the office?
What more can you ask for? Hey, Kimberly, how should I dress tomorrow if I come? Should I wear a suit and tie? Should I be business?
Great question. You can come casual or you can dress up. If you're coming for a mock interview, we encourage you to come dressed in business attire.
Okay, all right. Good to know.
And this is all internal to the university, right? There'll be no employers there.
That's correct. This
Okay,
is
so
just an internal event.
It's a little sort of like dry run practice session education.
Absolutely.
Great, that's good.
How's the job market, Kimberly?
The job market this year is really terrific. It is stronger than it has been in many years.
Great news.
And in fact, I will tell you that BU Career Link, which is our online hub for internship and job postings, today, this very day, we have more than 3,000 postings in the system. Those are
Wow.
employers who are looking for students for either internships or full-time opportunities.
Okay.
More than 2,000 of them are full-time opportunities, and
Wow.
they want BU grads.
And
So that internship, if I'm a sophomore or junior, can I check that out?
Absolutely.
And is the internship still available for the summer or next fall?
Some of them are for the fall, but there are many of them that are still available for the summer.
Wow.
That's fabulous.
And how do we get there? How do we find that?
Students can go to bu.edu/careers, go into our website, and there'll be information on our homepage of the website about BU Career Link. Students log in there, and they'll find so much information about opportunities.
And parents, I want you to listen to what Kimberly said. Students have to do this. Parents can't go on to this. You can't go on and apply or anything like that. We protect it so that BU community members who are students can do that, both undergrad and graduate,
Absolutely.
right? Can do it. So you can't do it. The best you can do is lead them to it, but they've got to get on and do it themselves.
So Dean Elmore, since our audience today is parents and a wide swath, many parents contact us and say, you know, I own a company, I have a
Oh,
business,
yes.
I have an opportunity for employment or internship. Can they also contact your office?
Please do. Absolutely.
And how do they do that?
In fact, they can call our office or they can go onto our website and look for our homepage. We'll give information regarding employers who want to post internships or jobs or both. It's easy to do. If they have
Fabulous.
specific questions, our telephone number is there as well. They can give us a call and we'll help them.
Fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Want to hit a few questions?
Absolutely.
Daryl, why don't we go with
Okay.
yours?
Question number 1, a parent writes in, do you offer, you meaning Boston University Center for Career Development, advice about transitioning to the working world to seniors?
Absolutely. So in addition to the workshops and programs that we do throughout the academic year, we also do one-on-one counseling with students so that they have specific questions about how to navigate the transition. We're happy to work with them. We also have information on our website about that. Everything from how do I present myself in an employment situation? What do I wear to work? Can I use my cell phone at work? Can I be on Facebook? Might even be questions about how do I negotiate a salary? I've just gotten an offer and I'm not sure what to do in terms of negotiation. So it can be anything, that to the first 90 days on the job.
Well, you got something right here, a
Yeah.
question that kind of fits into that. Why don't we go with that? Should my student negotiate salary, benefits, and all that other stuff?
That's a great question. And for some opportunities, yes, it's appropriate, and for others, it's not.
How do you know that?
The most important thing is that prior to getting a job offer, ideally, a student has done some research on the kinds of jobs they're looking for, the research on the industry that they're pursuing, and then will do enough research to have a sense of what the market bears. Now, they may have a salary in Boston that would be very different from Houston, Texas, or LA for the same type of job. So we encourage students to do their research so they know what the market bears in this area. They also need to think about their experience. Have they done internships? Lots of organizations say they're looking for someone with experience. Sometimes students are reluctant to pursue those because they think it's full-time professional. Might be an internship. So if they've got some added value that they bring to the employer, they're in a much better position to negotiate. But again, they need to have a sense of what the market value is so that when they negotiate, they're doing that in an informed way. And they should also think about negotiating not just salary, but benefits. Might they get additional vacation time? Might they be able to do flex hours? Might they be able to work from home one day? So there are lots of different things they might consider negotiating. And if they have any questions, again, they're welcome to call our office.
And benefits is a wide array, including health and dental and medical
Absolutely.
and retirement and
Absolutely.
all that kind of good stuff. So you can really do some amazing work when you do some homework.
Yes.
Exploring before
It's
you
all
ask
about
the
the
questions.
research.
And Kimberly, we're talking to parents, and you do hear stories about parents trying to get in on the negotiations. Do you advise that?
I do not, absolutely do not advise that. Employers, generally speaking, very much want to have the communication with their potential employer, their prospective employer, rather than the parents.
Not the mother, not the father.
Correct.
Not the grandparents.
Can't do it.
Do not call,
Correct.
write,
Do
email,
not,
or
do not.
text.
It
Do
could
not.
potentially disadvantage your son or daughter, so we really urge you to hold back.
All right, very
Excellent.
good. All right, so here's one that came in. It says, my daughter has a job offer, but she's more interested in another position. Okay, again, humble brag, that's what that is, right? Man, my daughter's got a job offer, but she's more interested in another position. What should she do?
First of all, congratulations. That's a great position to be in.
Yeah.
If she has interviewed for a second position and she has not yet heard from them, but she has one offer in hand, first of all, she needs to know what the deadline is by which she needs to get back to that first employer.
Good point.
She should then contact the second employer and let them know that she's very interested in the opportunity and that she has an offer in hand, but she'd like to know what their timeline is.
Okay. And that won't be seen as, that won't be off-putting?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Employers want students to be upfront with them,
Okay.
and they want the students to make informed decisions so they're happy with the positions they're accepting.
Okay.
So she needs to find out what their timeline is and ask them what the status of her candidacy is. For some reason I can't speak today. But as she gets that information, she can then make a more informed decision. She may want to go back to the first employer if she hears from the second one, which she has greater interest in, that they're making a decision next Friday. She may want to go back to the first employer and say, thank you so much for the offer. I'm still very interested. Could I extend the deadline just a bit so that I can truly make an informed decision?
Wow.
I ran into a colleague today, and he told us about a varsity athlete on campus who was asked how his job hunting was. And he said, it starts tomorrow, and he is going to come to see you.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I look forward to it.
So it's I almost want to say tomorrow is almost like a never too late, right?
That's right. That's
It's
right.
never too late to start saving for retirement. It's never too late to start looking for a job.
Absolutely. It's important to know that BU students and alums can access our service forever. So there are resources, rich resources on our website, but we also have career counselors on staff all year round, and students and graduates are encouraged to come in to make appointments to meet with us, and or if they're not local, they're welcome to schedule phone appointments for career counseling so people can help them through the job search process.
Okay. So, should I be concerned if my graduating senior does not have a job yet?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in that they need to get on it. They need to tap the resources. Remember I said that there are over 3,000 postings in the system? One of our challenges with our students at BU is that employers are saying, we want more students to apply for these
Are you
jobs.
serious? So we're leaving jobs on the table?
You got it.
Connecting,
wow.
connecting.
Connecting. The students have to want it. They have to go after it. There are lots of opportunities. Again, the job market this year is great. Employers are very excited about BU grads, but the students have to want it and the students have to apply for it.
So no one's coming and knocking on your door saying, I've got 70K job for you.
Correct.
Okay, so there you go.
Or even a 40K job. That I'm
Right,
not-
no.
Correct.
And see, I think that's where mom and dad or parents can play a role. You need to be the one knocking on the door saying, get on it.
Yes.
Right?
If students are saying, or your grads are saying, don't have anything in place, don't know what to do, I'm lost and confused, please urge them to reach out to us. We have tremendous resources for them.
Are you finding that a segment of our population, I'm sure it's not just Boston University, but nationwide, that there's a procrastination level with seniors?
Absolutely. We hosted a conference last week with colleagues from around this part of the country, and it's happening at all schools. It's happening at all schools across the country. And one of the challenges that we have is getting the students' attention. We know they want great jobs. We have great jobs available for them, but we have to make them connect. The other thing that's a challenge these days, I think, is that students have some comfort level with connecting electronically, but they have some apprehension about actually meeting with someone, doing informational interviews, picking up the phone and having a conversation with folks, going into their office to sit down and talk with them about their industry. And those are tremendous resources for students. They're things they need to be able to do and do comfortably.
And the only way you get better at that is practice.
Practice. Exactly.
Have an informational interview. Contact one of the deans in the Dean of Students office and reach out to us.
I do a lot of
We're
them.
happy to do that, and I do a lot as well. We'll even give you a list of likely questions that you might get asked in terms of a job interview and how to do some research about that potential employer.
Yes.
All right, so how do I start, Kimberly? You know, I've been procrastinating. I've had a wonderful senior week, but I know I got to get on it. So when you say get on it, how do I start?
Go to our website, take a look at the resources that are there. Think about scheduling an individual appointment to talk with one of the career counselors in person
I
by
can still
phone.
do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are
And I
there.
can do that after Sunday, after graduation.
All through the summer, all through the academic year, throughout the future.
Mm-hmm.
So connect with someone. Think about the kinds of things you want to do. There are lots of opportunities out there. We don't want students to be, or graduates to be underemployed. We want them to make informed decisions about what they want to do. But we can't help them to get to those jobs unless they're willing to invest a little bit of time and energy in doing some research and thinking about, what do I really want to do? Because all of our graduates are employable. Our goal is to help them to get to the right fit.
And young graduating seniors don't necessarily have to take their first job that they're going to be in for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They're so nervous about that sometimes.
I think sometimes that prevents graduates from moving forward because they think they're committing to something forever. The world has changed, the labor market has changed, and so people are making transitions regularly throughout their careers. What we try to do in the Center for Career Development is help them to develop some strategies and skills that will successfully serve them as they make transitions throughout their future. And no, they are not committing to the rest of their life with this first step. This is just the first step for
Very,
them.
very important. And if we do run into folks that Dean Elmore talked about in terms of where do I start, tomorrow might be, the jump start might be a good thing. Do they have to register for that, and how do they go about doing that?
We encourage them to register by just going online and getting into BU Career Link to register. They need not do it. If they're
Okay.
just too busy and don't have time to do it, come in anyway. We're there. We're going to be presenting this information whether we have 2 people in the room or 300 people in the room. So we'd love to see you.
You're not turning anyone away.
That's it.
Walk-ins are welcome.
And we're going to have light refreshments.
Okay.
You are just making this too easy.
I might come by.
Yeah, I know.
Please do.
Right. Just at least for the refreshments, right? Kimberly, what else do you see as stumbling blocks for people getting started?
I do think that some students don't have their marketing materials ready, and by that I mean they haven't really paid attention to their resume, or they don't know how to put a cover letter together, or they haven't talked to folks to ask them if they'd be willing to serve as references for them. And again, we have lots of resources and lots of information on our website and staff in the office who can help students to navigate that. There is information to get the resume started. We do resume reviews, we give them feedback. We won't write it for them, we won't write the cover letter for them, but we give them a lot of information to help to guide them to make those strategies successful for them.
And in this online world where a lot of this stuff is online, should seniors and people looking for jobs be mindful as to what is online in their profile?
Absolutely. That's critically important. More and more so every year. Years ago, employers didn't really know what Facebook was. Now they know, they're using it, and they're searching it, and other social networking sites. So if students are using them actively, they need to think about what is available, and not just what is completely public, but what friends have access to that might be accessible to other people. My rule of thumb is, if you don't want your your grandmother to see it, or you don't want your parents to see it, you shouldn't be putting it on Facebook
It
or
is
other
a
sites.
good thing that Facebook was not around when I was a student. It is a very good thing. Or Instagram and all that stuff. I mean,
Instagram, Facebook,
It is-
Twitter,
it's a good
social
thing.
media. What you should focus in on, like your resume, is tweak it all the time, is your LinkedIn account.
That's right.
And continue to mold it and tweak it and massage it so
Right.
that it continues to grow.
yeah.
Again, we have access to LinkedIn information on LinkedIn to help them with that.
So
too.
one other quick thing while we're on LinkedIn, what kind of picture should I have? Should I do a stodgy picture? Should I be my personality self? I mean, what should I do?
I would say you don't want it to be a photo of yourself at a party, but you also don't want
No
it to
red
be
cups.
stodgy.
No red
Correct.
cups.
No red cups.
Selfie?
But you don't, could be a selfie, better not to be. You want it to be a presentation of you that will impress someone who's looking at it. So it doesn't have to be in a business suit, although that's fine for some folks, but you want it to be as professional as possible, but also gives a sense of your personality, a little bit of your personality. Now, be mindful of the fact that it's not very much real estate,
Right.
so you want to make each piece of it as meaningful as possible, not only your photo, but what you include in your LinkedIn profile. You want to make it strong.
I had a young alumni, BU, asked me to tweak his LinkedIn profile. I don't do that for a living. I sent him down to you guys, but he was wearing a Panama hat and smoking a Cuban cigar. And I said, that may not be the best approach. And didn't he change it in one day later? So,
That's great.
good advice.
Well,
Thank you.
Kimberly, thank you for stopping by. One more time, give people a sense of what's going on tomorrow.
We are doing a senior event. All graduating students and others are welcome to attend. We'll help students think about the job search, how to negotiate it, how to prepare their materials, how to interview, and how to prepare for their first days on the job. So please join us and spread the word to all of your friends.
And the job market is strong. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you,
joining us.
Kimberly.
We appreciate it.
So we're going to take one more break, and we've got one of our graduating seniors going to be full on display right here next. Well, welcome back to our final segment for the academic year of the Parents Program Radio Show. This day we have been talking about seniors, and so we figured, how are we going to talk about seniors? Best way to end a show about seniors, but to have one of them join us. So, Daryl, let's introduce this fine young
Absolutely.
man that we've got
We
here.
pulled this senior off the street. Actually, he works for us in the Dean of Students office.
Right.
Please join me in welcoming Jeff Herrera. Jeff, hails from Middlebury, Connecticut.
Middletown.
Middletown, Connecticut. I was close. And has a dual major in philosophy and biology in the College of Arts and Sciences. So, again, as Dean Alamo pointed out, Jeff is making his second appearance on the show.
Only 2 people have done that.
Kimberly,
we just saw.
Jeff. So we're thrilled to have him back.
Right.
So welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
How's it feel, Jeff? Man, this is it. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel great. You know, it's really it's a great sense of accomplishment after being here for 4 years, and I appreciated all my experiences, and I've like be able to realize all my accomplishments, and I don't think I have any regrets, and it's a really good feeling.
Cool. Folks are going to be in town.
Yep. Yeah, coming this Friday.
They must be happy.
They are. They're looking forward to all the events. They're looking forward to the reception, and looking forward to just watching me walk up that stage.
Do you have a small, medium, large entourage coming with you?
Small, just mom, dad, and sister.
Nice, excellent. So, you hear students talk about the bucket list. Jeff has worked in the Dean of Students office as an exemplary employee. He has volunteered in the Community Service Center, and I know how both the Dean and I are enormously grateful and appreciative for his work, both in FISOP as well as the Alternative Service Break Program.
Yes.
So, say a couple words about what your involvement was.
Sure. So I had the honor to be a FISOP coordinator, and so me and 21 other coordinators had the opportunity over the summer to pretty much logistically plan the whole FISOP program, and it was amazing. All the students loved it, and being able to see them learn more about social activism and learning more about the city of Boston was a wonderful feeling, and a wonderful feeling of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. And so what are you going to miss the most about Boston, about the university? What are you going to miss?
I think I'm going to miss most of the Esplanade. It's especially in the summer.
Is that right?
Just walking up the Esplanade, or even in the winter, it's such a beautiful place, and being able to sit down and watch the geese that walk by, or just watch the kayakers. It's just a serene place.
Have you ever jumped into the Charles?
I actually have not, no.
Supposedly that's the ritual that you have. Part of the bucket list has got to be the final ones: jump into the Charles, step on the BU seal on commencement morning. So,
well, I still have 3 days.
All right.
I meet with Jeff's former boss, Zachary Hobbs, who's the director of the Community Service Center, and I was telling him about a conversation I was having. I was telling Jeff about a conversation, and Zach says, Jeff's one of those guys. He's a 50-year-old man stuck in a 22-year-old body. He's an old spirit, and I asked him what if he had his dream, where he could live, what he would want to do, and he told me he would move to Montana in a cabin.
Yeah.
Right? Without technology.
Nope, just cabin or a ranch, and just farm and stuff.
Wow. So the Esplanade story does not surprise me. The joy of that. Smell the roses. A lot of folks don't even take advantage of the campus and the Charles River and the banks of the Charles River and all of their 4 years. So let's talk about post 4 years. What's in store for you?
Right.
What's the plan?
Well, actually, I'm not entirely sure. Still going through the interview process, but I've been very happy to say that I've been interviewing in different places like Boston University, and other nonprofits in the area, and it's going well. And I've enjoyed the experiences I've had interviewing, and kind of gaining those professional skills has been very nice as well.
So Jeff, 20 years from now, when you're like this old man, where would we find you? What are you gonna be doing?
I'm not.
What's gonna be your life's work?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm considering a doctorate in either law or philosophy, and just kind of settling down in academia and teaching for a living.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Boston University. Have you actually explored some employment opportunities?
Yep, I've gone through the BU employment page through HR.
Okay.
And I always scour the job postings just in case something pops up that
Absolutely, right.
I applied for.
Yeah.
All right.
Fabulous.
Any regrets, Jeff?
No, I don't think so. If anything, I would love to do it all over again. Spend more time with friends, I guess. But
Right.
I think it's been a very fulfilling experience.
And here's the important question: how has senior week been?
Oh, it's been so much fun. I got to go to Harpoon Brewery and Royale. But yeah, it's been
Parents,
great.
these are parents.
There's no drinking.
Anyway,
No drinking.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been kind of coming around full circle to see all my friends that I met freshman year, or it's ones that I've kept in contact and stayed really close with.
That's what's really neat about senior week is people reconnect with each other, and you see lots of these reunions over the course of the week. So that is really neat, and hopefully you can keep those in your heart and your life for a while.
I even noticed, and I know Jeffrey was there at senior breakfast when Dr. Brown presided. and we were showing all of the photographs from their freshman orientation.
Yes.
They were enthralled. They were enthralled looking at the different groups and, 4 years, rewind the videotape 4 years back trying to find themselves.
Right.
And there was like silence in the room because they could not believe the photographs that we still had them.
We still had them. And we were playing music they were listening to back then, like
That's
Katy
right.
Perry's Teenage Dream, those sorts of things, and Adele.
Will you be going to do anything special with your parents, either going out for dinner or having a little celebration after commencement?
Yeah, we're actually going to a restaurant called Gaslight down in Tremont, I believe, just for a nice little meal. And
Nice place.
Then just hang out, talk afterwards, kind of reflect on my experience. And then they'll head home, and I'll probably see them very soon.
Nice.
Do you have any geographic restrictions on your job search? Do you like New England? Do you want to stay in Boston? I know you're from Connecticut.
Well, I would love to stay in Boston particularly, but I've always had the idea of possibly maybe Seattle or Portland or even San Francisco. So I'm not bound to Boston anyway.
Great cities. Fabulous cities.
Excellent.
Well, good. Well, Jeff, one of the things I want to do before we go, give you one of these.
Oh,
As a
thank you.
thank you, and that's yours, and it's from us here, and we really have appreciated you and everything that you've done. You've had a really full experience here at the university, so thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you both, and it's been a great privilege working under you too. At the
Fantastic.
student's office.
All right. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what I want to do? I want to have Christy come sit over here because I'm going to be away on the next Parents Program radio show, and so Christy's going to be my fill-in as part of it, and I'm going to let Christy take you all out at the end of this show. I will see you at some point over the summer.
Thank you, Dean Elmore.
Thank you, Dean Elmer. I wish I could be Dean Christie. And I would only like to add that I met Jeffrey at a summer orientation. We made an instant connection that we were both from the Middletown, Connecticut area. He went to the brother school of my sister's school,
Yeah.
although many years ago for me, many years. But I remarked at what a eloquent, well-rounded young man he was. So I'm privileged that he joined us for the very last radio show of the academic year.
Thank you, Christy.
And I'm looking forward to more radio shows to come this summer, and to working with Dean DeLuca, and to sharing many other facets of this great university with you.
Christy will be a great sit-in because this summer we're going to be doing a radio broadcast, a radio show, every single week during summer orientation to welcome the class of 2019 students and class of 2019 parents. And we're thrilled and eager to get that going. Believe it or not, in a short few weeks. It's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner.
We only get about a couple, 3 weeks, a little off after commencement and graduation. We go right into summer orientation for class of 2019. So, on behalf of Dean Elmore and the Dean of Students Office staff, as well as Christy and Jeff, I want to thank folks for tuning in. It's been a great ride this year. This is our 8th broadcast and our 8th show for this academic year, and we look forward to doing 8 more this summer in a very, very compact, abbreviated time period, June, July, and then one last one in August. And then we'll be right back to kick off another academic year. And Jeffrey, personally, thank you again and for all of your support and everything that you did for Boston University. It is enormously appreciated.
Oh, thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
And congratulations to you and your entire class.
Thank you.
Great accomplishment.
Thank you.
So, bye-bye, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.